How do you rent out your current house and buy another one? Well, watch this video for a step-by-step guide if you want to rent out your current home and then buy another home. Hey, I'm Leslie, and I help first-time landlords, house hackers, and homeowners navigate the real estate space and rental space just like a professional. So whether you're renting out your very first property, house hacking to buy your next one, or just trying to figure out how to lease your home the right way without hiring a property manager, you have come to the right place. Because when you get the leasing portion right, the rest of the management becomes 10 times easier. And just a quick heads up, if you want a full roadmap to follow, I put together a free download for you. It's the Essential Landlord Checklist Guide. That's over 50 pages of checklists that will walk you through every part of leasing and managing your rental. You can grab that using the link in the description below. It's perfect whether this is your first property or even your fifth property. So let's start with why this strategy works. Renting out your current home and buying another one is one of the fastest ways to grow your real estate portfolio. And this is why people do it. You already own the home. It likely has a good amount of equity. You can then buy your next property as a primary residence, which means lower down payments and better loan terms. You then turn your first home into a rental property, generate that income from your first property when you're moving on to your next property. So where do you even start when it comes to this process? The very first step is you need to estimate what your rental value is going to be. So how much rent you're going to be able to collect on your current property. You really just need to find out what that property is going to rent for. The way you would do that is you would hop on the various websites where people search for rentals like Zillow, Craigslist, apartments.com, or even Rent-A-Meter, and look at the rental comps in your area and make sure that you're comparing similar properties, so similar bedroom, bathroom, square footage, amenities, if it's a single family home, townhome, apartment, so on and so forth. And then you want to get an idea of your ballpark monthly rent. And this is critical for the next step. Now, the next step in the process, once you've figured out approximately what your property would rent for, then you're going to need to get pre-approved with a lender, mortgage broker, and you need to get pre-approved for that next home that you're looking to go to. And what you want to do when you're looking for this lender, you want to find a local lender in your area who understands what's called lease on departing residents. What that basically means in loan speak is that you're keeping your current house as a rental and using the future rental income to help you qualify for your new purchase. So when you go to get pre-approved for a loan, this is what they're going to need from you. They're going to typically have you fill out a loan application. They will then check your credit. And then once they've done that, they're going to send you a documents needs list, which will include your W-2s, your tax returns, pay stubs, bank statements, any investment account statements, and also copies of your IDs. And then they're going to want to know that estimated rental amount for your current home. Now, I definitely recommend this next part because some lenders won't do this step, but find a lender that will. Some lenders will run your file through what's called initial underwriting, so then you're fully pre-approved and ready to make offers. And then you'll also know if there's going to be some additional documents or things needed from you in order to make this strategy work. Now, the next step is you're going to want to strategize with the agent that you're working with and your lender. And once you're pre-approved, you want to bring in your real estate agent, or maybe these two will happen simultaneously because oftentimes your real estate agent will have the best lender contacts. You just want to make sure that you're working with a team of people who understand this strategy. So your agent and your lender both need to be aligned so that things can run smoothly on a transaction like this. Now, let's say you got your property, you wrote an offer with your agent, you got the offer accepted. Now, the lender is going to start requiring additional documents from you, and some documents that they might need would be an actual signed lease agreement from your departing residence and a security deposit in hand before you can close on the new home. Some lenders don't require this. It all depends on your loan product and your financials and the situation. But if your lender does require a signed lease and a deposit in hand, then you'll need to market your current home for rent before you've even moved out. And that's where the next step comes in. So the next step in this process is you're going to need to get your current home rent ready and start prepping the house almost as if you're going to sell it. You want it clean, decluttered, and you're going to fix anything that might come up in showings or in photos. And this is part of the two-step leasing strategy when it comes to leasing your rental properties, because just leasing your home is one part of the process, but when you're leasing your home and it's a requirement for your loan to buy your next home, then there's a second step in this strategy. This first part, you're going to stage the property almost as if you're going to sell it, clean, decluttered, fix anything that might come up in showings. You'll then book those professional photos. You'll write your detailed listing description. And when your property is photo ready, you also want to do that Zillow 3D tour and do a full video walkthrough of the property. And this part is really, really critical, getting the leasing part right in this step when you're trying to keep your current home as a rental and buy another property. If the lender is requiring you to have that lease in hand and deposit in hand, then you really need the property to shine, and so you can get it rented fast. You want that listing to be really strong so you can attract a really great tenant even before you've moved out of the property. If this video is helping you get more clarity around your next steps in this process of going from one house to the next house, then you're going to love what I put together. I've got an essential landlord checklist guide that is a go-to roadmap for you to lease your rental just like a professional. It gives you checklists from everything from pricing, prep to showings, screening, move-in, and more. And everything is broken down in a simple step-by-step checklist so you don't miss a thing. All you need to do is just grab that using the link below, and it's totally free. So now you've got your professional photos done, your Zillow 3D tour, your listing video, everything's all ready to go. You're going to put your property on the various websites and attract those great tenants. So you're going to put the property on sites like Zillow. I, of course, recommend paid premium to get to the top of the pile. Then you'll list on the other websites like apartments.com, Facebook Marketplace, or Zumper. You want to be sure to be very clear on your lease terms, your rental criteria, and your move-in date. And the move-in date is key here because you want to try to align it properly with the closing of your next transaction. So maybe the home you're buying has sellers that need time after closing to move. So always cushion whatever that date you would get keys. Cushion that by, I'd say, anywhere from 14 to 21 days. That might sound like a lot, but just know when you're getting into a more nuanced transaction from going from one house to the next house, things can get complicated and take more time. And the last thing you want to do is lease your property out, promise a move-in date, and then have to push back that move-in date because that could cut in to an expense that the new tenants might incur, and you might have to eat that cost. So always cushion that move-in date so you have enough time and you don't feel rushed. Now, once the property is active, these leads are going to start flowing in, and then you'll start showing the property, which is easy at this point because you already live there. So you can just book times that they can come through. That's convenient for you because you already live at the property. Then you're going to meet some great potential tenants and you're going to run them through your screening process, use an online application platform, then have them sign the lease and collect the deposit. Now, in this step, if your lender does require you to have a copy of that lease agreement and the security deposit in your bank account, show proof of that, then I would go as far as to send my drafted lease over to my lender to have them review it to make sure everything looks good on the loan side before I have everybody execute the lease agreement. Then I would take that drafted lease and I would send it over to my new potential tenants, have them review, everybody signs, then you collect the deposit, and then you would send the signed copies and proof of deposit over to your lender as one of your requirements. Not all lenders require this, but some do and some don't. It just depends on the team you're working with and your loan situation. But this is usually that final step that the lender needs to verify that you are in fact getting that amount of rent that you stated on your loan application on your current house in order to qualify for your new house. So let's fast forward and say you successfully closed on your new house Now you're just going to be working on the prep to get it ready for move-in. So you're going to move out of the home. You're going to deep clean the home, inside, outside. You want to replace anything that needs replacing, fix whatever needs fixing, which could be painting, fixtures. And then you're going to jump into our second phase of the leasing strategy when you're going from one home to another home. So this second phase is where you're going to do another round of professional photography when the property is vacant and when it looks as best as possible. Ideally, just a few days before the move-in is when the property is going to look best. You're going to do all of your move-in documentation. So that includes the inside, outside full video so you can document the condition of the property, and then run through that pre-move-in checklist, which you can also go through pre-move-in checklist with your rental tenants before they move in. That way, if they see any damages, you could address it before the lease even starts. Then you'll officially, of course, move your new tenants in and you'll be in your new home and the process is complete. This is where you go from homeowner to landlord. Your current property has now become a real investment property. Now, thinking ahead, because you're running a business now, at this point, now that you've got an investment property, you have a rental property business. And so part of this two-phase marketing plan is thinking ahead in the future. Once you've got those post-move out photos, once you're out of the property, it's vacant, you can reuse those same professional photos every time you need to fill a vacancy in the future. You've already taken all the steps to have the listing description done. You've got your rental criteria already set. Your lease terms are already written. So fast forward, say you signed your tenants on a 12-month lease. They have now given you a 30-day notice, but boom, you already followed the process and you've got those beautiful photos from when the property looked in A+ shape. So you can go ahead and relist the property maybe a few weeks before they're going to move out. You can start creating a wait list for the property when it does become vacant, as long as the condition's good and you lease to great tenants, which if you follow the process, you likely will. At move out, you should be able to show the property within just a few days of getting the keys. So that's the full breakdown of how you rent your current house and turn around and buy another house. This strategy works really well for first-time landlords, house hackers, or homeowners who just want to build their portfolio without selling their current property. It's one of the easiest ways to start building that portfolio, because when you rent out your current house and go to buy another one as a primary residence, then you can utilize some of those lower down payment programs and your loan terms are going to be significantly better. Then what do? You occupy that one for another year and you turn around and you do it again. So whether you're renting out your current home, buying your next, or just trying to do things right the first time, know that you're 100% capable of being a great landlord without having to hand things off to a property manager. There are, of course, reasons someone would use a property manager or a leasing agent, but if this is your first rental, you live locally or pretty close to the property, then you can totally do it yourself. So don't forget to download your free Essential Landlord Checklist Guide using the link in the description below. And if this video helped you, hit that like button. And of course, drop a comment if you have any questions. And as always, happy landlording.